took me just over 33 hours to beat Final Fantasy VII Remake, though I certainly have at least a few more hours worth of things I could go back for. I generally hunt for lots of secrets while playing RPGs, so I checked every corner for chests and items and did nearly every optional side quest available. That said, I didn't spend as much time with the optional minigame activities, things like doing extra squats at the Wall Market Gym, trying to get the top score in the darts minigame, or going through every level of its arena fights. I did some of these tasks and they can get you some very helpful items, but completing them just wasn't as interesting to me as continuing the story. Still, I plan to go back for them later.
It took me around 30 hours to complete the story of Final Fantasy VII Remake. When I began the game, I was combing every environment trying to complete every side quest, but I quickly found this to be not as engaging as the core story beats. From around chapter 9, I began to focus purely on the main quest, missing a lot of optional missions that I'm planning to go back to. Also at this point, I was cutting corners when allowed, as the story was more interesting to me than manually upgrading my weapons. One thing I did invest time into though was perfecting the minigames. I'm now a squatting and pull-up master with a couple of lovely championship belts in my possession to prove it.
My first playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Remake ran me about 38 hours, and while it certainly wasn't a completionist run in terms of hitting all the side quests, I definitely wouldn't say that I beelined it to the finish. According to my playlog, I completed 20 of 26 side quests, or odd jobs as they're called. Since completing the game, I've put in another 12 or so hours leveling up my characters to max level, completing battle intel reports, fighting through every arena fight, every Shinra battle simulation fight, and every VR battle against the game's summonable monsters. I'm not normally one to put in that much time into a game after completion, but the post-game battles in Final Fantasy VII Remake are some of the most fun and challenging in the whole game, and definitely worth the extra effort to build yourself up towards.
By the time the credits rolled, I had sunk 44 hours and 23 minutes into Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's over 10 hours more than some other people on the IGN team, which just goes to show how massive this game is. Square Enix wasn't kidding when it said that this was a full Final Fantasy game. Aside from the core story, I spent my hours doing every side quest and plenty of smaller activities, such as rounds in the Wall Market Battle Coliseum. I also completed all of the battle intel reports, which I highly recommend because the reward for doing all 20 is definitely worth it. Beyond that, I also spent a long time just exploring the world. Even though it's largely linear, it's incredible to see the original game's iconic areas recreated in absurdly gorgeous graphics, and I scoured every inch of it for Easter eggs and treasures.
And if you like that and want to find out more about Final Fantasy VII Remake, then why not check out these videos.